Hey guys, it's your girl Lexi, and I just wanted to come out and talk about our relationships. Let's talk about relationships with our parents, the traumas with our parents or our children having traumas with us, that generational curse, I know a lot of us have experienced. I know a lot of us are going through it, and a lot of us are in deep with it, right? It is very, 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 very challenging. It is very overwhelming to deal with that portion of life, right? And that's why in this channel it's so important that we seek our own salvation, right? Which will free us from that bondage and that mindset and those traumas that have drawn a wedge between us and the people we love, right? Or that love us. So time and time again, I've heard so many stories about, I can't be able to operate or I can't do certain things because of what I went through with my mom. I've never been able to do this because of what I went through with my dad, and things like that. I don't know the scripture by heart, and I was just going through my Bible, but I'm so encouraged to give the message. I'll probably link the scripture in the bottom of the video, right? As I'm still growing. When your mother and your father forsake you, God will step in. And when I tell you, when you don't know, you don't understand that. You won't understand that. But when you dive in and you really get to understand, you're not the only person that's been through trauma. They did the best that they could. They didn't have a relationship with God. Or maybe they did have a relationship with God. Whatever it was, God will do a great thing in your life, right? Outside of what you've experienced, right? Sometimes it can be extreme. Some of our traumas could be like crippling, right? It's crippling. It's heartbreaking. It's hurtful, right? And you can be very, very mad, very upset. You can be very discouraged. You can be isolated. You can continue to make decisions based off of what you've experienced in your past. And it's not beneficial to you, right? You holding on to that hatred. You holding on to that anger. You holding on to that frustration. And it's only digging a hole a little deeper. A little deeper. You're more and more, you're down. You feel bad. You're sad. You're angry. When you think about these things, or when other people do things that are related to that, you're mad. You just can't function. So that's why it's so important to build a relationship with God, so He can reveal things to you that has happened within your family, within your bloodline. There are things that you don't understand, right? You just mad. It shouldn't have happened to you. And I agree, right? There are things that shouldn't happen to us, but they did. And the sooner we get a relationship with God, we can be able to understand what has happened. Spiritually, things are out of control. And when you don't know, gotcha. You hear me? I mean, pure chaos, pure turmoil. And then now we here. You're watching my video trying to figure out how to pull yourself out of this thing that's been holding you down. And God could free you from that. God could give you understanding, because that one thing, or that thing that you may have, which you could be living that out in a new relationship, or you can be living it out and creating more traumas with your children, right? So the sooner you get a grip on yourself and you get a relationship with God and you deal with your traumas, you can alleviate what happens to the next generation, right? And you can also alleviate you going through a life full of frustration and pains and challenges, right? We're not gonna continue to use everybody else for the reason why we are where we are. We're gonna take responsibility for ourselves, right? We're gonna seek our own salvation and understand what's really going on out here that you can't see, but it's happening. And the sooner you dig in, the sooner you allow God to work in your life and for him to reveal things to you, for him to lift the veil off of your eyes, the sooner you will be able to have forgiveness in your heart, which will open you up and allow God to work in your life in such an amazing way, right? Free you from that bondage, free you from that anger, free you from that fear, right? Free your mind, just free you to where you can. So for me, right, if you made it to this part of the video, hey. So for me, I've had hella traumas with my parents, right? God. Mad. I mean, I'm pissed, right? It didn't really benefit me to be there, right? And I've made certain decisions, and I've stayed. I was moving from such an unhealthy place, trying to compensate what I didn't experience. Anywho, I had so many traumas with my own parent. And even after finding God, we've had challenges, right? But I tell you one thing, God has came in and he has done amazing work within this relationship. And people that know us and they know truth, they've been there, they may not respect it, right? They may still go, girl, you remember that? But I mean, neither here nor there. Because I'm freed with God, because I have this relationship and this awesome thing going on with God, I don't no longer look at it that way, right? Now, do I handle things accordingly? Like, hey, do we address things appropriately? We do. It's been over 8 years now, and I haven't heard my mom curse or... This woman that I know today, it's amazing, right? He freed her from bondage, right? And he gave me understanding on where she was in her life, right? And who am I, right? Who am I? Who am I to judge? Because guess what? I've made some of the same mistakes, maybe innocently, right? And maybe on purpose because it's what I know. But now that I have this freedom and I have this understanding and I've had enough experience, you know, I've had some life real experiences. I'm a mother of an adult. I'm able to see things so differently, and opposed to just lashing out or taking things personal. I know I could step to God, and instead of us being in turmoil or us gossiping about it or us running each other down, we can get on the phone today and we can be amazing with each other. We can apologize. We can love on each other. We can show up for each other in ways that at one point I couldn't even imagine. I'm like, God, what did you put? What is this? Right? But God, what was meant for the bad only turned for the good. And I just thank God for that. And I want you to have that experience too. Because when I finally thought, when I got to a point where I no longer, I was just like, enough is enough. God came in and he just was like, it ain't over yet, baby girl. I got this. And he did amazing work. So I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm trying not to be teary-eyed because, you know, I get a little emotional. God just... he just, there is a, you know. Anywho, So I hope that this message encourages you to do the work. Find God. Let's dig in. Let's start with the first steps of surrendering our life to God. Asking God for forgiveness. Let's get our Bibles out. Let's use the word. It's not my word. It's not his word or your word. It's only his word that works, right? So let's get our tools out. Let's start digging in, and let's ask God to help us deal with our traumas and our circumstances, our situations, so that we can be better people, not only to ourselves, but to our children, to our friends. We can walk in forgiveness. We can walk in love, and we can be free. Right? We can be free. We ain't condemning nothing. We ain't mad. We ain't angry. We not mistreating each other. We just coming with pure love, and watch how God just does amazing work, not only in your life, but the people you're connected to too. So anyhow, I'll be back.